Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody who's joining us. Let's give it a couple of minutes for people to start joining. Well, thank you very much for spending the time this hour of your day, and if you're watching on demand, taking your hour of whatever time it is to be able to go watch this webinar. We're going to share our takeaways and our Encore presentation that Vikas Jain from Snowflake and I presented together. Well, in the meantime, I think we can kick us off by introducing ourselves. My name is Juan Sequeda. I'm the principal scientist and the head of the AI lab here at data.world. I'm also the co-host of Catalog and Cocktails, the honest, no BS, non-salesy data podcast. And really excited to be joined here by my friend and colleague, Vikas. Vikas, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, Juan. So I'm a Senior Technology Alliance Manager at Snowflake. I've been with Snowflake for 6 years in a product role and also in alliances now.
Great. Well, let's kick it off right now. This is our agenda we want to go through. We want to first have a quick conversation about the takeaways that we had from the Snowflake Summit. Vikas is going to talk about the Snowflake AI and ML vision. I will be then presenting our AI context engine and providing a short demo, and then we'll be wrapping up. And with that, let's just kick it off. So, Vikas, let me throw it to you. I can't believe it was almost 2 weeks ago or whatever. It was such a full packed week. So much stuff that went through that week at Snowflake Summit. What are your takeaways of what happened that week?
Yeah, it was one of our largest conference, 50,000 attendees.
Wow.
So for me, the top, there were several announcements made, but if you have to ask me for the top takeaways, for me, it was Snowflake now provides a platform for AI, apart from being a data platform leader. So we launched Arctic LLM, Cortex platform for generative AI, and end-to-end support for machine learning. Second key takeaway, we are big on open source and our commitment towards Iceberg and Polaris catalog. There were announcements made around how much we are going and supporting those open source strategies. And the last one is around native applications, ability to build, allowing end-to-end developer platform for building applications on top of data so that you can bring applications to data instead of bringing data to the applications.
I find this really exciting about how we're now like the world is really the AI data. I think that's like the big message around here. For me, my main takeaway, and I mean, for folks who know me, I'm all about semantics and knowledge. And that was truly so fascinating to go see everybody listening to that message that we need to invest in semantics and need to invest in knowledge. And this is resonating. I think people have been kind of realizing that this is something they need in the back, and that's why they need to invest in catalogs and metadata. But now, because of AI and specifically Gen AI and LLMs that doesn't have that context of the organization, it is very clear that we need to start investing in that. So in addition to the talk that we both gave, I also gave a talk with Erica Rubin from S&P Global. And that was one of the messages too, about how we can actually invest in ontologies and make that connections with the data that's in Snowflake. So that's what I'm really excited. I think people are really understanding we need to go invest in semantics and knowledge. So that's my main takeaway from here. Well, let's kick it off. Vikas, let me throw it to you. Let's talk about Snowflake's AI and ML vision.
Yeah. So our vision for generative AI is that we are providing models for customers, Snowflake customers to work with. These are managed models, so you don't have to worry about running in a container. You can simply start using those models. And these are task, we provide both task specific as well as foundation models. And then on top of it, you can also fine tune these models to your liking. So, and then on top of these models, we provide chat interfaces. So for the structured data, there is a Cortex Copilot API where that can, we call it Cortex Analyst now, and Cortex Analyst can then interact with any of these models to bring those API interface for you to create custom chatbots. For the unstructured data, there's a Cortex Search API that can be used to directly interact with unstructured data. And on top of it, we provide Studio, Cortex Studio, that allows you to build these experiences with no code. And so at Summit keynote, we had a person randomly picked from the audience, and then they built a chatbot right in front of everyone. And they didn't know even how to use Snowflake. So we have made it so easy. And then we also have a couple of experiences built into the platform for Snowflake use itself. So Snowflake Copilot provides ability for analysts working with, let's say in Snowsight, SQL to generate SQL, and for document AI, where you can take unstructured data such as invoice PDFs and then generate structured data out of it. So that's just on the generative AI side. And then if you go to the next slide, we have an end-to-end machine learning platform now. So we start with an ML compute infrastructure where in the past we just had warehouse runtime, which was CPU based. And now we have container runtime, which is based on GPUs. And so, NVIDIA GPUs can power very intensive workloads that are required by ML, whether it is during the training phase or the inference phase. And so now we have a separate runtime for that as well. Then the streamlined ML with SQL is provided by out-of-the-box ML functions for whether it's forecasting, anomaly detection, and much more. Then we have for custom ML development and operations, or ML dev and ops, with Snowpark Python APIs, where you can do feature engineering and model training, do the feature management. We have a feature store and model management through the model registry. So all of these are available to provide this end-to-end development framework for your ML jobs. And then on top of it, we have the Snowflake notebooks that can be used by an ML engineer easily to work for their ML project, as well as a Studio, which is no code, low code way of interacting with ML. So that's our ML story, apart from Gen AI. And together now, as I said in the past, that we have a full-fledged AI platform for any AI need.
Now, it's really exciting about how all the AI and the data world is coming together at Snowflake. And we're really excited to partner with Snowflake. And what I want to go talk to you is how we are building that trusted context so we can start building these AI applications. So let me start off in saying, look, in organizations today, right, we're also excited about things like ChatGPT and so forth. But what is very clear is that these LLMs and these generative AI tools, they do not understand and know the context of your organization, right? So if you ask, like, what is COGS lookup, right, it doesn't even know what that is for the general. So what we really need to be able to go do is figure out how do we provide that context to the generative AI, because without this, we're not going to be able to have that enterprise rollout. So when we talk about trust, our definition of trust is threefold. This is what I want people to take away. When we talk, we need to be able to go deal with the hallucinations, of course, of these large language models. And it's because they don't know the facts of the organization. So we have to deal with the accuracy aspect. Second, these models themselves, we don't even know what's happening. They're black boxes. And I mean, you could even ask what happens, explain how they got an answer, but that explanation itself could possibly be even hallucinated. So we need to have an explanation around this. And also it's important to note that these systems are really not just about talking to a particular model or an LLM. There's a broader kind of agent architecture underneath the hood that we need to be able to understand what's going on. And finally, of course, everybody's focused on risk. We need to make sure that we're managing that and making sure that things are not being exposed that shouldn't be exposed. So we need to have this notion of governance. So what we're really excited that we've launched at the Snowflake Summit was the data.world AI context engine. We want to be able to provide that instant and trusted access to your company's knowledge. And really the vision here is, imagine if everybody in your organization had a trusted assistant where it knows your business, it knows what it knows, and it knows what it doesn't know. And this reminds me of one of my favorite TED Talks from last year, from Saul Khan from the Khan Academy. Well, his vision is, imagine if every single student in the world had a private teacher. And right, imagine every teacher in the world had a private teaching assistant. The world would be a better place. And I think that is the vision I want to go strive for. Imagine every single person in your organization had that private expert that they have access to. So the Data World AI Context Engine, it's an API first system. It is really focused on helping you build those applications that you want to go. It's not just about have a UI to go chat. It's really providing, it's an engine that you can go plug into your different systems, where we focus on accuracy and the explainability and the governance, all which is possible because of the knowledge graph architecture that we have. So what is that? What do I mean by that knowledge graph architecture? We always say that your first knowledge graph should be of your data catalog, of metadata that you have within your organization, because that really constructs that brain of your organization. So when we start thinking about kind of your technical metadata, you say, hey, I want to bring in my databases and understand what tables are part of a database. For example, the order table is part of that database. But I also want to keep track of all my different concepts, my business terms, my glossaries, and be able to make relationships between them. So I can define business terms around orders and relate that order table to that concept of an order. And when it comes to governance, we want to keep track of the policies and the people who are involved, right? For in this case, Ruben is a steward of a particular database. In addition to bringing in just technical metadata from tables and columns and ETL things, you want to be able to bring in like from dashboards, BI tools and so forth, and then be able to connect them, understand where it's coming from. So I have a particular dashboard, which is a sales report, which was derived from one table, which is derived from another table, so forth, in that database, which is the sales database. Data, we always talk about data as a team sport, right? So we also need to understand who are the people involved within your organization and who's doing what. In this case, we know that Sally produced that particular report. Now we start getting into more about the semantics about what things mean and how we're representing the domain of your organization. So in considering an e-commerce scenario, we want to model, hey, orders are placed by customers. Orders have lines and lines have products and there's addresses, and an order has a shipping address, a billing address, and so forth. These are the things that we want to start managing that knowledge, managing that within your data catalog and your knowledge graph. You'll have things like metrics, and you say, hey, that dashboard is related to that metric, and that metric is related to these particular concepts. And by the way, Sally is part of the sales department, and Ruben is part of the data department. And we can keep going more and more. We can keep adding more things. The point here is that this graph that we're presenting you, this knowledge graph, is taking all those disparate pieces of metadata and knowledge, and we're bringing it together and creating that brain of your organization. And what's really important is that this brain is the context. And what we have been doing is trying to understand how we can use this context for question answering when it uses LLMs. So a little bit of a backstory here is actually at the Snowflake Summit last year, when we're all starting to get into the LLMs and people are starting to say, hey, I want to be able to go chat with my structured data, and it looks like LLMs, I can do my text to SQL. It was very clear that all these examples people were doing were really kind of from a very toy example, but the question was, how can we really productionize this? And people are understanding that we need to be able to go invest in semantics and knowledge graphs, but what does that actually look like? And actually, what is the benefit? So the folks at Snowflake, a lot of the teams actually challenge us saying, okay, we really understand that we need to have the semantics and knowledge graphs, but how do we do that? And actually, how better is it? So we really appreciate that challenge. And one of the things that we started doing in our lab was to really understand that to what extent the investment in knowledge graphs can improve the accuracy. We released a benchmark around this late in November, where we actually showed that by putting on, if you have your questions and you're translating them to queries directly over your SQL database, and you compare that to taking your questions and translating that to a semantic layer, to a knowledge graph, and then putting that to your database, over the knowledge graph, that semantic layer was at least 3 times more accurate as if you did it. So that was the work that we released in November, and we had a lot of different organizations and different other vendors too, replicating and validating the work that we did. And then actually less than a month ago, we actually published more work where we were showing how we can further make use of the ontologies, further use that semantics to be able to further increase that accuracy, which we now have it over 4 times more than if you don't have that. So the bottom line here is organizations who want to be able to bring in LLMs, bring in generative AI, and they want to do question answering over their structured data, investing in semantics, investing in your metadata, investing in knowledge graphs is a must. If you do not make that investments in semantics, in metadata, in cataloging, in knowledge graphs, you will fail at this. We really only have one shot. It is foundational for you all to invest in semantics in here. That is the main takeaway, and we have all this evidence around that to support that claim that I'm making. So what does this look like inside of data.world? Is that we have our data catalog platform that does all our technical metadata for search and discovery, brings in the technical metadata to do the governance, to do your data ops and your lineage. And what we start doing is already building that knowledge graph within the catalog. And now the AI context engine is that we're combining the knowledge graph with these large language models. And again, the key word here is the engine. And what we have is really an agent framework where we can have a different series of autonomous agents. The first agent that we're releasing is more on this question answering agent, where you can actually have like a data analyst approach and be able to ask questions. And subsequent agents that we're working on are things like our knowledge engineering agent, where we can be able to go work with the users to be able to understand what is actually help us continue building all that semantics and manage that in a governed manner. And these are the engine will be powering these different applications that you'll be building. So a couple of examples that we've been seeing here with our customers, really excited to work with the team at Power Digital, which is really interesting. I want people to understand is that we're really focusing on the end users, on business users, not just the technical users. We really want to be able to understand how we can create applications that are revenue generating, that they're actually asking questions that are going to help us move the business forward. So, for example, Power Digital is a digital marketing firm where they have an marketing analytics platform where you can ask, the analytics already provides insights, but based on like a framed view. And what we're seeing is that users want to be able to go ask questions that are outside of that framed view. And I think that is what enables us to go ask those questions like outside and enables us to kind of be very proactive and leverage that serendipity. Another example is what we work with WPP. WPP is the world's leading ad agency, and what they're doing is that we want to be able to enable their creative users, their creative employees who are non-technical, who may be working at the client site, and they want to be able to go answer those questions on the fly. So for example, WPP has a lot of data around audiences and brands and surveys, and they should be able, and they can ask questions about like how many households in California have a higher income, are interested in EVs. Those are the types of questions that you may want to go ask right on the spot, and you don't have time to go set up a whole data product to be able to go get this. So you want to be able to answer those questions as smoothly as possible. And as our colleague Vip says, if you don't choose a data catalog platform on a knowledge graph architecture, you're setting yourself up for failure in this AI future, which is frankly already here. So how does things work here with combining with Snowflake in your environment? So first of all, inside the data.world platform, you're building all this context. You're bringing in all that metadata and creating all those business glossaries and start building all those ontologies and things inside the platform. And that is the context that gets provided to the AI context engine. So your environment, what's happening is that you're building your application, let it be your particular chat application or assistant, right? Where a user may be asking questions. So that goes through your own application, and you may have your own LLMs doing that. What your application is going to say is like, oh, to be able to go continue asking this question, I probably need some extra context that's coming from the AI context engine that data.world has. And you may be sending that question all the way down to the to data.world. What we'll be doing is that we'll execute the question, and it goes through our entire agent framework. And sometimes you're going to need to be able to go access the data to be able to go answer that question. So that context engine will be able to generate queries that will send them directly to Snowflake and be able to go answer those questions, and then present the results back with all the context and the explanation back to the application that you're going to be presenting to your end users. So I want to kind of show a quick demo around how this is looking inside of data.world. So this is an actual, I'm jumping into the query workbench inside of data.world, where we actually have an e-commerce database that is posted, that data lives in Snowflake. And what our context engine is, again, it's an engine. And what I'm be showing you here is a user interface that we actually have been implemented that talks about, that talks to our context engine. So let's say, for example, start with something simple. How many customers do we have? And what we're showing you in this particular user interface, which is a developer interface that we've had, is that we're actually showing the thought process that that happens through the entire engine inside of data.world. So we're through the context engine. So you can see here, we go through a whole plan phase to be able to go understand what are the things that I want to go do. I want to be able to understand, do I have all these things from the context? I'm then going to go build a particular question using the context that has been derived, and using the LLMs to generate that. And then maybe there's some modifications that need to be done to the query, and then we can actually execute the query. Now, what I'm showing you here is actually the semantic, the knowledge graph query that was generated automatically from this. So you can see that in this case, it's a simple example, but we're saying, hey, I want to return all the things that are considered a customer. And I may extract all the different types of context that comes from the business glossary. And also what we're showing you here is the particular parts of the ontology, that semantic layer that's being used. In this case, I'm only using this concept of a customer, but we're actually showing you more things that are related that may actually inspire people to go say, oh, I can start asking all these other questions. Now, you may say, this is just, I'm just querying a customer, but there may be a mapping that is much more complex to what a customer is. So these are particular other examples just to go through. For example, I can say, how many orders are placed by a customer? And something I want to go walk through here is to say, look, the context engine is asking a question, and it's processing that, and it may find errors. It might find syntactic errors. It may find semantic errors, and it is auto-correcting itself to making sure that we're providing an accurate question. And sometimes it may say, I can't answer this question. Therefore, an I don't know is better than an incorrect question. And here again, we're seeing, in this case, it's actually all the customers have placed an order, and then I'm counting all those particular orders. How many customers do we have by state, right? We can see our thought process around this. And what happens is that the queries, again, even though we're presenting the queries in a Sparkle graph query, you can actually be able to actually read this, right? It says a customer, there's a customer has an address has a state, and then each of these things you can actually go see, if you wanted to, the actual details that goes back into the mappings that actually are completely structured, that are completely governed around that. How many products do we have, right? That's a simple question. What are the top 10 products that are ordered the most? And you can see how now it's traversing the question, the path, and we can see the line items belong to orders, and those have products. So these are the types of questions and how we can present the explainability around that. And I think that's what's really important that we want people to take away, is that it's not just only providing an answer to a question, an accurate answer, is that we need to provide the explainability. We need to be able to say that this is in a governed manner, because that is the trust that is being provided to end users. So to wrap up, before we go to the questions, I want to be able to really excited to share that you can now connect data.world directly through the Snowflake ecosystem. We are available in that Snowflake marketplace. This makes it much more easier for developers, as Vikas was saying originally, that we can go and create those applications directly inside of Snowflake, and then you can just plug in for any existing data.world customers, connect directly to that AI context engine, all in a very secure and easy way to go do that. Vikas, let me throw it back to you. Any final questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think my summary is context matters, and you have to invest in a context engine, whether it's data.worlds or something you build yourself. But without context, you will not get accurate answers. So if you're investing in AI, you better invest in context as well.
Exactly. I love how we're doing that. We have a quick question here. And we can talk about how do the Snowflake's new generative AI capabilities and the AI context engine work together? I'll take that and kind of following off of what Vika said. Right now, what we're seeing is that we want to be able to have all that context, manage all that context. And I think what data.world is doing is that you can enable all that context and manage all that context within data.world. And Snowflake can be a consumer of that context. Let it be the applications are directly asking the questions to the data.world context engine, or it's actually consuming the context that lives in data.world so that can be executed inside of Snowflake. So I think there's a lot of variety opportunities here, and really depends on how global semantics you're thinking within your organization. Anything else you want to add there, Vikas?
No, you pretty much covered it.
All right. Just wondering if we have any final questions. Other than that, I think we all know that you can find this webinar on demand, and always feel free to reach out. You can just find me very easily on LinkedIn, or just feel free to email me. I am Juan@data.world. And with that, Vikas, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thanks for everybody who's been listening.
It was pleasure to be part of this. Thanks, Juan.
Bye, everybody.